Hello, and welcome to the Butler Beat. I'm Steph Wolfred. Fall break is coming up at Butler. Many students have plans to head home to see family and friends, but one group of Butler students has volunteer plans in mind. The Fall Alternative Break Trip, an organized trip by Butler students, plans to travel to a destination and volunteer their time to help other people over fall break. Today, I will be talking to two members of the FAB Executive Board, Erin Loftus and Esther Flahardy. Thank you both for joining me today. So what exactly is the Fall Break Alternative Trip?
Fall Alternative Break is a service trip during the fall break, and we will go into the Appalachia mountain range and do a service trip.
Okay, so what are you guys going to do there exactly? Are you building? Are you cleaning? What's happening?
This year we're going to do like a variety of things. One will include like going to a park, one will be trail building, and then we're going to be restoring a church.
Wow, that sounds great. So are you guys, do you know what the weather's going to be like? Is it going to be chilly, or do you still work in the rain?
We'll still work in the rain. Usually it gets a little cold in the morning, and then it will warm up. So we always encourage everyone to have layers. And then by the afternoon when you start working, everyone sheds their layers and is working in the sunlight. So it's still nice because of the fall weather.
Yeah. And the area that we usually go to is very mountainous, so it's really beautiful. All the leaves are changing. There's a lot of, you look into the mountains, you can see it everywhere you go, trees everywhere. It's just a really beautiful area too around this time.
So where have you guys gone in the past?
In the past, we've gone to Neon, Kentucky. We've gone to Maryville, Tennessee. We've also gone to Hazard, Kentucky, Pipestem, West Virginia, and then this year we're going to Mullins, West Virginia.
Is it typically the same activities where you're building and doing trails and mostly outside kind of work?
It all depends. Sometimes we'll do trail building, or sometimes we'll have a focus. Like when we went to Maryville, Tennessee, we were outside, but we were also really focused on helping the Cherokee Indian tribe and helping them out. And we would work inside and outside, so it all depends.
Wow, okay. Who exactly does this trip benefit?
So it benefits the community that we're going to. That's a big part of why we do these trips, is because these areas tend to be areas that are struggling with poverty or some other issues, and they just need a lot of help, handiwork. It's even the small tasks that they need help with that people might not think they need help with, but we're more than willing to help them. So it's benefiting the whole community, and it's really cool. We get to interact with a lot of the people that we work with. Last year when we went to Hazard, Kentucky, we basically started building a house up from the ground, and the family that was actually going to move into that house came to the work site, and we got to meet them and see, who exactly our work was benefiting, and it was really neat to interact with them and kind of build those relationships and see that connection that we were making there.
Do you guys work specifically with a volunteer center wherever, like whatever state you're going to, or is it just through Butler?
Through Butler, we'll contact another organization, and then they will give us certain projects to do. So we're working with someone that has different things in mind.
Okay. And how can Butler students get involved for next year?
They get involved they apply in the fall, and then we have an application process, and then we'll have 3 meetings, and we go on the trip, and usually in October.
So how long have both of you been doing the Fall Alternative Break trip?
This will be my 4th Fall Alternative Break.
Wow.
And this one will be my 2nd. I just won it on my first one last year as a sophomore.
Okay. So how did you both get involved? Was it just like freshman year block party, or how did that work?
Mine was through freshman year at block party, and I was also had my guard up looking for other opportunities because I'm from California. So it's hard to go home, and so I wanted something that would also benefit my service that I never had the opportunity to do in high school, and it just has pulled me in, and I haven't been able to stop.
I found out about it at Block Party too, but also the AOC, the Ambassadors of Change program here. Some of the people were involved with that my freshman year, and so, interacting with those people and hearing about what they had to say about it, it just means a lot, hearing about it before school even starts, and then when you see it again at Block Party, and then you hear it through, other people in classes and around, it makes you more excited each time you hear about it. That's how it was for me.
So is there a cost for students to go on this trip?
Yes, there is. The cost to go on the trip is $100. That's something we keep steady every year. It includes the travel costs, so we always take a charter bus to there. It's usually about a 6 or 7 hour ride. It includes all your food during the week. We always make our own food. It's a lot of fun, big kind of family styles dinner. Everybody takes their turn helping out and cooking. And it also includes a place to stay. We normally, through the organizations we work with, they give us somewhere to stay. Like this year, we're staying at an elementary school. So basically, all of those costs, or the $100 cover all those costs. And we usually do a free day activity, and it includes the cost for that as well. So we do a lot of fundraising ahead of time, working with SGA with the grants. We do a letter writing campaign where people who are going on the trip get to contact relatives and friends and other family members and stuff. We give them a little note, say, hey, this is what we're doing, we'd love for you to give any kind of donation. So that helps subsidize the cost a lot for the students, so that cost shouldn't be an effect, that if you really do want to go on this trip, it shouldn't be a matter of money if you really want to do what you love to do.
Right. Do you guys do any other volunteering as a group outside of the trip, or is this kind of it?
We usually do like a pre-service trip and then a post-service trip, so that it keeps everyone kind of in the mode of doing service, and that you can serve here as well as going outside of Indianapolis.
So what do you guys do for your pre and post trips usually?
We've worked at the St. Vincent's Food Pantry, and we've helped out there, and we've also done like around Butler and like cleaning up.
All right, well that's great. And how many students can go on the FAB trip?
We take a total of 30 students, and we have 5 members of the exec board, so that's 25 applicants, and then we also have 3 faculty and staff advisors.
Okay, so is it a pretty intense application process, and when do those applications come out?
The applications come out around the beginning of school, maybe a month or so into it, and we get a different variety every year. So this year we had a pretty big application pool, but we were very happy with the outcome.
Okay, well that's awesome. If students are not selected to go, what are some other ways that they can volunteer, either on campus or with the group maybe, or off campus?
We encourage them to really reach out to the Volunteer Center, and we also direct them to Alternative Spring Break, and to apply next year.
Okay, when is the alternative spring break? Where does that group go?
Well, they're not sure where they go until later, when it's closer to spring break. So in March, usually they'll start after winter break, and then they'll do the same type of announcements that we'll do in the connection, and just flyers around campus.
Okay, so those two groups are separate,
Yes.
the spring break and fall break trips. Okay.
But as Esther mentioned too, the Volunteer Center, they're somebody that all students, regardless of if they're involved in the trips or not, can go to. They lead trips all around Indy areas, pretty much every other day of the week. It seems like they always have something going on with, the food banks or other kinds of places that, they'll take a group of students to on the weekend or during the week as well.
Okay. And for both of you, what is the most rewarding part of volunteering personally?
For me, last year, I know I got really impacted when we were working with the families and hearing their stories, and we also really connected to the carpenters who are helping us, and just really in each community, they all have their sense of community, and it's really nice to be able to separate from Indianapolis and see what differs for them and what really means a lot.
A similar thing, the connections you make both with the people you're working with, you see who it's directly impacting, and then what's kind of unique about this trip too is while you're serving, you're meeting these other people from Butler that you may have not known otherwise, and you find these common interests that you both, love serving, volunteering, and that kind of stuff, and you build a relationship over these breaks that when you come back, you have people that have similar interests with you, and you just kind of connect on that level, and it's something that, honestly, I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Great. Well, thank you both so much for joining me today. I'm Steph Wolfred. Ryan Lovelace will be your host for segment 2 of the Butler Beat.